Hear my plea, oh yeah. Your rod and staff, they comfort me. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Hear my plea. Your rod and staff, comfort me. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My refuge and my soul. Hear me suffer, oh. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Hear my plea. Your rod and staff, comfort me. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Shalom, shalom, and welcome to another edition of Voices of Truth. I'm your host, Sarah Madiel, and here we get a chance to interact and engage with various brothers and sisters in the Hebraic community, in the Hebrew family here in Dimona, Northeast Africa, Dimona, Israel. And we have a very special guest this particular edition, one who has journeyed up to be with us during this season of New World Passover 2022, which was a great time, great season. We're still in that season. We haven't all the way come down from the heights yet, but we have in our studio, we have here Sister Aturah.
Shalom.
Shalom. Welcome. Welcome.
Toda.
Sister Aturah was one of the headliners of the closing concert, the last day special concert under Dimona skies, under Dimona skies, under the star-filled Dimona skies, and she was one of the stars on the stage with us, or for us, and we were out in the audience, and we were like really kind of like taken by the show you gave us. You know, I was in and out of St. Louis, where you're from, and I remember your parents well in those early days, and just want to ask you, for starters, a little bit about you know, your growing up in a Hebraic household in that consciousness, and then I'm sure that it didn't all click with you at those young, tender ages, but at some point you kind of had your own awakening. So share with us a little bit about your story.
For me, the first thing I remember like doing different than the other children in daycare was they got milk and I got apple juice. So that's my first, like, I guess, memory of knowing that I was different.
Did you want the milk?
I can't say yes. I would have rather had the juice. Yeah, I think no.
Did you feel special?
No. I mean, just different. Like,
okay.
You know. And then growing up with communal living, I'm just so grateful. Like, I had so many parents, you know. And so many sisters and brothers that, you know, if I lived a regular life in America, it would have just been my biological family. And because, you know, we did communal living, I had so many teachers, you know, and so many buddies to get in trouble with.
If you want, you can give a shout out to those teachers and buddies if you want, you know.
Okay. No, I will save that, but
Right.
no, but I'm forever grateful for the way that I was brought up, because, like I said, having so many teachers, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's a familiar story. It's not until we get later on in our years that we look back, and then we have a chance to learn that the way we were raised had value, and you only protect and lift up what you value, and so now you're able to express that back, and that's a great joy for us personally. So at what point did you, again, the Hebraic idea and identifying as an Israelite, has that become, when did that, I'm assuming that it has, obviously,
Okay.
but when did that actually click with you? Prince Shaliach used to always tell us, you know, that you hear information and you study and you by repetition you go over things, but at some point there's a day at which you're like, oh, I get it, or I see, and it's not like it wasn't there before your eyes all the time, but
Right.
you actually, it kind of like hits home.
I would say that the youth conferences helped mold me into my Hebraic understanding, and understanding like that, it was serious and it was real. Just the stuff that we would talk about at the conferences, and I'm not like super emotional person, but Sarah Samakia spoke one time, and I was just crying, like it was just so like profound. And then me going on my own journey in terms of my diet, understanding like why that is so important, definitely helped me like gain respect for, the things that I already learned as a child, but kind of like I said, respecting them for myself and actually taking it serious.
So these youth conferences, they were the Youth on the Move, the YOM, are basically younger children, pre-adult.
Okay.
And so they were held here. Did you have conferences over there as well? But I know that you had come here.
Okay, so the one that I'm talking about in particular was in Texas. So
Okay.
before we came to Israel.
Okay.
When Sarah Samakia
She
used to
came
come
there.
right to Texas for the conferences. And I mean, it just let me know like it's just a spirit that I felt like. It's not really, I can't really explain it or tell you what exactly she was talking to us about, but it just felt real.
Resonated.
Right.
Yeah. I recall those moments myself, and I can't think back to when I first found out about being a Hebrew. I just know what the brother was saying made perfect sense, and it pointed me in a direction. So, on that wise, I understand that you're involved with still a youth project movement, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'm a part of the CFF YLM Bridge Committee, for short CYB, and our goal
CFF being the chosen first fruit,
our
young
first
adults.
fruit came. So we want to bridge the gap between the younger CFF and the YLM.
Okay.
And we try to target the older YLM because it seems like they kind of get lost a lot. And so we put together like presentations, open dialogues. Right now we're working on an agriculture project with them. But we just try to stay in contact with them on a regular basis. When I was a youth, my Abba was over us, and he would ask us what we want to do. And we would tell him what we want to do, and then we were able to make that happen. So we're trying to like create kind of that kind of thing, but with younger CFF and YLM, we want to have a relationship with them so that they feel comfortable talking to us, and that they know that they're not alone. Like I said, I feel like a lot of the times the older YLM get kind of lost. So yeah, we just had a presentation a couple of weeks ago on mental health, which went really well. Right now we're working on an agriculture project with the youth where we were able to send agriculture kits to youth all over the U.S. and they're growing arugula and beets right now. And so and we kind of made it like a jurisdiction, project, not just, the youth project. So everyone's supposed to be working with their jurisdiction, getting everybody involved, working together to have a garden.
What were some of those things that you told your father that you wanted to do?
The first thing we told my Abba that we wanted to do is we wanted to go to Atlanta for Yom Kippur.
Okay, Day of Appreciation.
So that was the first thing that we did, that we asked to do and were able to do. Yeah.
When you speak of the youth and the struggles and what have you, what are the challenges that they face? And then you said mental health, and I can't help but think of the current spike in suicide rates. How have our youth, how have your peer, and those, like you said, that tend to get lost in the older YLM age brackets, what are some of the biggest challenges that you find that they face?
I think that a lot of them think that they don't have anybody to relate to, that they're alone, And I think that having that mental health presentation just opened the door for them to feel more comfortable talking about the things that they may be facing. We have some testimonies from some younger CFF who were going through some things, and some of the CFF here were on the call. They were able to open up about some things that they were going through. And I think that just having that presentation assisted in the communication that, sparked some communication between youth and maybe their parents, because we did have adults on the call, even though the call was geared towards the YM. But maybe, a youth didn't feel comfortable talking to their parent, but we were on the call too. So, maybe they'll reach out to us. Or we also had a professional on the call speak, so who's in the kingdom. So maybe they'll reach out to her, So, I think it's just great that we were able to give them some options. And start the dialogue about, that it's okay if you're having any type of issues.
Okay. Name some of the jurisdictions. Everywhere we are around the globe, we refer to those cities and locales as jurisdictions. Name some of the other jurisdictions that were involved in this bridging.
Right. DC, Texas, Atlanta, St. Louis, Chicago. We had some people from Dimona on the call. I don't think we had anyone from Ghana on the mental health call, but we have had people from Ghana tap in, people from Guyana tap in, and we have had people from South Africa tap in to some of the calls.
Okay. You told me that you had been to Ghana.
Okay.
When was that? And how long ago was that?
I went to Ghana in 2019, right before the pandemic, during the year of return.
Oh, okay. Well, I was there then.
Okay. I don't think I saw you. I did.
There's a lot going on there.
I know I saw that. Okay.
So did you enjoy yourself?
Absolutely. It was a great experience. I want to go back.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
So of course in our vision, the whole idea of life in America is certainly not something that we're investing in. We're trying we're looking for options to get out, and of course this being home. But Ghana is one of those places that, and you said 2019, they were just then opening the doors. What did they call it? The year of return. Although we have some problems with their math about the 400 years. We don't start in 1619. That's problematic. But nevertheless, we're happy that the consciousness of our people seem to be raising and moving in that direction. What do you see relative to our people in St. Louis, in the States, and the life, if we dare call it that? What are the solutions?
I don't know if there is any solution to being in America. Like, anything that you think you may come up with, I just think we don't have any control, honestly, with the outcome there. So I wouldn't say that there is a solution.
No internal solutions.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, we don't control anything.
Right.
So, and the stuff you can control, you do, but it's not enough to literally change, America, no.
But you've got a college education degree and what have you, so you've advanced and followed the formula that they gave us for succeeding in that. So what's missing?
What's missing? You're not really able to have a sense of self and still be successful the way that they, see successful. Like, you have to literally conform to what they want you to be in order to be successful, But even being successful is not changing the system or changing the world, You're just successful.
Okay. It reminds me of the chapter, one of my favorite chapter actually of all of Ben-Ami's books, in his books, The Power to Define, and the importance of our being able to define happiness, to define success, to define progress and advancement in the way that makes sense for us. So I appreciate that. Let's get into the music. When did you begin to sing, and do you write your own songs? And I'm sure as we're airing this, that we'll have some of your music in the background, wafted in the background.
I do write. I've been singing since I can't remember. Since I was little, I've been singing. And I started writing, kingdom sounds when I was like, I'm gonna say 7. Yeah, and then
Kingdom sounds as distinguished from what? What were you writing before that?
I wasn't writing anything before that, but
Okay.
I don't know why, but yeah, I started writing. Let me just say writing in general, but they were
Okay.
kingdom sounds.
Okay.
But when I was like 7, and me and my sister and some of the Yelladim that we grew up with would sing the songs and come up with choreography and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. So your current project was called Aturah.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
So in 2016, Aturah and I were here for the Wild M conference, and while we were here, Aturah is my little sister, and while we were here, Sar Abraham wanted us to go and record some songs in the studio. And when we were in the studio, he's like, "Oh, I gotta, y'all gonna come to Ghana, we're gonna record." And shortly after, Aturah passed in a car accident. So in 2019, I was able to go to Ghana and record, and it just seemed like right for the music and the CD to be dedicated to Aturah, and to be titled Aturah the Light, because the music is positive energy, it's upbeat, it's Aturah, and that's how she was. So yeah.
I remember getting that news, and it was so it reminded me of the day that we lost Yovela. And we talk about these things. We have to face them, and we never want to forget the ultimate price that some of us have been called to pay. And I always have to think of the scripture that says that in our return back that we shall not go altogether unpunished. And I'm sure you probably got a few licks growing up, and you might remember being in your room, sent to bed, and you're sitting on the edge of the bed, and you're feeling that lash, and an hour later you're, as you remember. And so I think about these kind of situations that we have to endure in that manner, that it's the bulk of the chastisement that we went through is over, but we still have to sometimes we still feel that on our way back to that relationship with Yah. So we certainly that was a dark day for us, as it was for you on that side. What's your favorite song on your album?
My favorite song, I'm going to say, is Praise Yah.
I'm laughing because my son Shekanya, and it's funny because he's my youngest, so he's like 17, and he asked me. He said that song Praise Yah, the one, because I had sent him the music. Okay. And I think somehow he lost it or something, but he wanted me to say, and that was the song that he wanted. Yeah, so Praise Yah.
Yeah, that's one of my faves.
Cool. At your concert, I was very impressed. You seemed to be really cool and comfortable up there, and I've been up on the stage before once or twice, and as a spokesperson, naturally I'm out there, and it's not something that you every time I go out in front of a camera or whatever, you get those butterflies and those sensations. But then once you get into the groove, you forget about that and you just roll. And you seem to jumped in quite early and got into your momentum.
Okay, I'll say I do still get butterflies and stuff like that, but I feel like when I was performing for New World, I was like performing for family. Like that's how I felt. So I was a little more comfortable, than I would be performing, for random people. But yeah, it felt like family. So
It was family.
okay.
even some new folks that you had never met before.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I had a
They
lot
were
of
out
people
there.
came. Someone came up to me at the performance who was from Nigeria after the performance, and they were asking me if I was from Nigeria. And they were like, "You spoke my language, like I understood you." And I just felt so good because when I was recording in Ghana, they were giving me things to say, and telling me what they meant, and like, put this in there,
Right.
and I would say it how I felt it in the song or whatever. But to know that I was speaking it correctly for someone who's from Africa to come and ask me, like, I just knew you was from Nigeria, like, and I just, that was just amazing for me. It was just like confirmation that I was doing it correctly.
All right, hallelujah. We all enjoyed it for sure. My personal favorite, and again, one that I thought you were really kind of like feeling it, is the reggae, the tune with the reggae feel.
Okay, and that's
What's the name of that?
Praise Yah.
Oh, well, all right. Now it clicks, because that's my son's groove right now. He's
okay.
into the reggae feel. Okay, now it all makes sense. Okay, yeah, all right, super. Well, hallelujah. And this is a copy of the CD, Aturah, the light. Aturah means the light. It's named after her sister, by Aturah. Songs of Deliverance out of Eden, Volume 5. Again, it was recorded in Ghana.
Okay.
And those are some very, very talented musicians there that we've been able to tap into. So I need to get a little sip of water here. My mouth then got dry.
I'll say another thing that's cool about the album. Me and Aura sang together all the time, and a lot of the times our voice, I feel like our voices just literally like sync together. And I feel like I can hear her in the music, which I think is cool.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So Aura lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hallelujah. What's ahead for Aturah? Oh.
I mean, I'm hoping a lot of traveling. I know a lot of work ahead. Hoping to grow more into my role with the CYB.
You got an upcoming conference here.
Okay, upcoming Wild M conference that the CYB will be a part of here at the end of July, and it'll be 2 weeks. The last week in July and the first week in August, we'll be back in the Holy Land and bringing some youth with us. So that's exciting. But hopefully some more travel, outside of the Holy Land. Like I said, I still want to move out of America, and I haven't really found where I want to settle yet. So I hope to do some more traveling to figure that out.
Okay. We're going to make sure that she gets down to South Africa, and we want to make sure also put the word out that some of our brothers and sisters, young sons and daughters out of South Africa can come up for the youth conference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We would love that. And I'm hoping that we get a lot of participation from the youth here, specifically the older youth. I'm trying to tap in with the younger CFF as well to try to get them to be a part, so that, the younger the older Wild M don't feel like I'm too old, So that's a goal of mine. I've been like, trying to plant seeds around why I was here now. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Future musical projects as well?
Hopefully. I always say I don't sing enough in this life, so I'm always open and, looking for opportunities where I can, share with the world my gift.
Okay, hallelujah. That sounds. Or you do dancing as well, as I recall when you came for the YOM conference in what year was that?
2014, 2016.
You came with a dynamic brother who was leading an ensemble, Sunshine.
Okay, so yes, I came to Israel 2017 and performed with Sunshine here for New World in 2017. And when I came for the youth conference in 2016, Aura was so like adamant that she was coming back for New World in 2017. And she passed before that. So it was a big deal for us to have everybody come down to perform New World here. And it was great. I mean, it's nothing like performing on the New World stage. So, I mean, I just feel blessed that I was able to do it twice.
So that's the key. Your dance experience was the key to your moving so fluidly while singing.
You could say that. You could say that. I've been African dancing since I was about 7.
Okay.
So African dance is definitely my life.
Okay. Well, it showed. New World Passover. What was? Tell us about the experience being here, not on the stage from that perspective, but being out with the rest of us.
The energy is so high. Like everybody is in good spirits and in their best garments, and just excited to. I was just excited to be a part of the energy. Seeing all the children run around, eating watermelon, all the activities that they had going on. It's just a lot to do, a lot to see. It's stuff going on, and it's a lot of people out to talk to bump shoulders with, It's just a great experience.
What's the conversation with the youth, with the young adults, relative to really comprehending the magnitude of what New World Passover stands for, and the where we are and where we've come from? Is that something that you feel that your peer really are able to grasp at this particular point?
I won't speak for everyone as a whole. I think some people more than others. I think some people have decided not to be a part of the kingdom, but they still come to be a part of the energy that is, out there doing New World, which is weird to me in a way, but it's not weird because of course you want to be a part, it's the kingdom, it's everybody, it's the energy. Like, of course you want to be a part.
Right.
But
where you're from.
right.
Yeah.
It's what you know,
Right.
of course you want to be a part, but that's why I would say no, everybody is not thinking about that, because those same people will come to New World purposely in something that is not, representative of the kingdom on purpose, and it's kind of like to show everyone else, like, I'm not a part, but you're here. So I don't know.
Sounds like they might need to have been in that mental health seminar.
Something.
I'm
I don't
sure.
understand it, but like I said,
Yeah.
I get that the energy, you would want to be a part. How could you not want to be on the Kifar, especially when you live in Israel?
Right.
I mean, but there are people who travel from the States to come here for that, who say,
Right.
that they are not a part of a kingdom, and that's just, it's interesting.
We had a visitor the first day of New World, and it's a brother who's doing a piece. They're looking to do a pilot for Showtime, and the brother's he wants to focus on identity, and so he chose Israel as that vortex, because a lot of stuff converges here in Israel. Talking about some of our children out there, race, religion,
Right.
Arab, Jew, what have you, and so we had a Black Orthodox Jew out in the celebrations with us. We had an Afro Bedouin, Sheikh Aid, who's just down the road. I'm sure you've seen him over the years, and some of the children that have come from Sake of Shalom, where he lives, and so all that kind of converges here. And that was, identity is so important for many people now. And so I know that's a great challenge for the youth to to find themselves. And everybody says, I got to be me. I got to find myself. Do you? And I constantly tell my children that no one can do you better than you. So stop trying to be like someone else. So
Right.
is this something that you see that has to be, what do they say, working it out?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something that has to be worked out. And I think even more so today because growing up, we're exposed to a lot more than, you know, the people who came before us, and even more so with people coming behind me. So it's easy to, you know, be caught up in, well, this is me and this is who I am and whatnot, but not even understanding that you're being influenced by, you know, all the stuff you're looking at on a regular basis. And, you know, you're just confusing that with, you know, this is me. But no, it's like actually the video that you watched last week, you know, or the images that you saw in that movie, you know, or something like that. So I think it's a lot heavier on the youth, you know, now to find themselves and really understand who they are, because I mean, 1,000% of the time somebody is telling you who you are. So
so many distractions, so many.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were blessed to be able to have gone this distance with the Holy Father in fulfilling that vision. And we always talk about how, for example, on arrival here in 1969, just to make a phone call back to America, you know, we didn't have there was no such thing as a cell phone.
Right.
You had to catch a bus and go to Beersheba, which at that point was an hour's bus ride,
Right.
just to call back to America. And so we were isolated, we were insulated, and was the perfect incubator for this idea. And we often say that if we were to try to do this now, if we were to try to start something like this now, that it wouldn't be possible because of all those distractions and
technology.
Yeah. So in the time since you've been here, I'm pretty sure it was very close to the time you've been here, and then once during the time you've been here, certainly, the Buffalo shooting, where a young white man traveled 3 hours and specifically targeted a black neighborhood in Buffalo, went into the supermarket and shot a dozen of our people dead. And then the next week, we see the mass killing of, again, another 18-year-old with a couple of assault rifles. He targets, he's a high school student, and he targets elementary school children, 19 dead, two teachers killed. Contrast that with, you know, that environment in America with, I'm certain that I imagine that you were moving about your life here carefree in contrast. And so that's what goes on in the mind of the younger generations when you look at issues like that.
I mean, both of those issues that happen, is like you're living your everyday life and all of a sudden, you know, it's just trauma. You know, like you're in the supermarket and somebody's shooting, or the kids are at school.
Every
you
day,
know,
that's everyday situations,
right? And I mean, it's just very unfortunate that that's even a thing, you know, and it's happening so often for us now that we're kind of like immune. Like it's like, oh, like there's another one, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. And it's very different from here. Like, I mean, I don't have a car here this visit, so I'm doing a lot of walking. And if I was at home, I wouldn't be comfortable walking around by myself really at any time. Like, you know, some people are comfortable walking in the day, but I have a car at home. So if I could drive there, I drive. Like, I don't really walk unless I'm going to a park to do some walking or bike riding or something like that. But you feel a lot more comfortable here to walk around, to, you know, you're not afraid that somebody's gonna rob you, or, you know, that anything bad is gonna happen. It's definitely a difference for sure.
even with my own children and all of our children, we know that America still is it's attractive. It glitters. It draws the cultural pull, the music, the imagery, the what have you. America's, I mean, most of the world has a love-hate relationship with America. They know on one hand that America's not really a cool place, but we can do this there, we can do that. What would you tell our youth who are still susceptible to that? And I'm assuming you know something about the prefrontal lobes and their development, the brain's development, in the sense that the area of the brain that determines your being able to discern what's right from wrong, et cetera, decision making, that doesn't even develop sometimes until you're in your mid-20s. That's the usual time it develops fully. But for the generation prior to that, what would you, those who are in their teens, what would you tell them to you know, as one who currently does reside there and is looking to move out?
I think that it's hard to see the beauty in what you have when you have it. So I think that for a lot of the youth who are growing up here, because this is what they've always had, they don't really understand like the value of it. And I'm sure, like, you know, if I was talking to youth, they've heard the saying like, a lot of times you want what you don't have. And then when you have it, you don't want it, or, you know, kind of like that. And I feel like that's kind of what it is. Like, they don't understand the value in what they have here. And if they were to move to America, they would definitely see the differences, I mean, as soon as they touch down. But I think that it's something that they should experience, and it's not something that should be shielded from them, so that they can see, you know, the differences in what's happening there and what's going on here. Because technology is, you know, growing faster and faster, and we able to see all these images and, you know, do all these things and communicate with each other. I think that it would be a disservice to the youth to try to shield them from everything. It's only going to make them want to rebel even more. So I think it's important for them to see, you know, for them to come to America, for them to see the differences in how they are living and how, you know, people live in America, for them to really understand the value of what they have here, instead of them trying to live an American life here, you know.
I understand that. And that can be difficult, because in the larger Israeli society, they actually refer to America as Aratzot Habrit, which means the land of the promise. Not the promised land, but the land of the promise. And if the promise is materialism and stuff, and American this and American that, it's a pull, you know, style and fashion and furniture and things of that nature.
Right, but I mean, those are all material things that really mean nothing.
Right. I think often about my own children again. The perception that they had growing up was that we were poor because we didn't go to the shopping center, the shopping malls, and go and buy clothes off the rack.
Because you made clothes.
We were making our own clothes, and especially at times like New World Passover, the whole family was getting tailor-made outfits from when you were yay high. And what would you pay? What could you pay, or what would you have to pay for tailor-made and really truly one-of-a-kind garments?
Right.
You know, so there's value, like you said, there's value in that, and only when they get older do they really discern that, and are able to process it correctly and come on back home.
Right.
But we have to be here when you get back. So that's our motto as parents. As a young woman, with the current, I call it gender dysphoria, just confusion, and just it's all over the place relative to, again, this is speaking to identity as well. As a young woman, what can you say, and what have been your experiences in navigating through such a confusing and confused culture? what grounds you?
Um, Confused culture. I think that is perfect. Um, Today, it's not just like people having their own identity with themselves. They want you to also participate in, whatever they call themselves. Like if they don't want to be called a he, if they're a boy, they want you to call them she. And so it's like, it's not just them feeling a certain way about themselves and this is how I identify. It's like, this is how I want yeah. So that's a sticky subject for me because I don't want to participate in the confusion. So for me, in those types of situations, I would rather just call you your name, instead of trying to get with the pronouns and all of that. It's a lot. And as a Black woman, growing up, I was very much like a tomboy. And I think in this day and age, if you seem to be leaning more towards, being rough, than being like pretty, then it's like, I feel like the way the world is going, it's like, okay, well, you must be gay, or you must identify as something other than female. And that's what it seems like the world is moving to, instead of just allowing yourself to grow into who you are. It's kind of like, okay, well, you must be this or you must be that if you're doing this, but it really doesn't work like that. I don't think that womanhood or manhood is like on a scale, like if you do this, it's that. Or if you do, because I feel like even as a woman, like I have some masculine, traits, but I'm still a woman, so I don't know. It's confusion. That's what I would say.
Well, I certainly, we have to strike a balance, but you bring the balance to the male and vice versa, and in a society, if you're trying to navigate by yourself, you have to, I'm sure being a tomboy, you had to defend yourself like you had a brother.
Yeah, and I hung out with the boys. Like
Yeah.
I was very much like a rough, tough, and I'm just grateful that my parents, weren't like, okay, well, let's put her in a box, because that's kind of what it is. Like, but yeah, even though they say with the way things are going, it's like, no, we're opening up the box. I really feel like you're being put in a box.
Your song again, Praise Yah. What is Yah to you? How do you do that?
So for me, how do I praise Yah? I praise Yah a lot through music for me. Like the music that I listen to in the car. And I've been working on it in terms of praying more, but I find myself listening to kingdom sounds is more so the way that I praise Yah. And in the song, it talks about like negativity and positivity and just, being a light, shining your light. And that's all ways that I praise Yah as well. So.
Just in the last few days, it was a situation that was brought to our attention, and we weren't. It kind of slipped in under the radar, and it's a testament to the fact that we as watchmen always have to be on guard. And it's a song that in the course of the lyrics, it talks about light and shining a light, and then there's some very clear sexual innuendos in the lyrics that we weren't tuned into, and it kind of slipped by. But it's a testimony, and so like you said, if you're playing the kingdom sounds, which we have that standard, songs of deliverance are an expression of who we are in our lifestyle, and all music is an expression of who we are and our experiences. I say that as a musician. Maybe the next time you come, I'll be able to be back there. Maybe next year, Abba, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to that. And that's not far away.
Okay, I'm sure we'll be doing some drumming or some dancing or something at the youth conference for sure.
Cool. Well, hallelujah. And again, I'm serious about that connection. Let me know your windows. Maybe we can rendezvous and line up some things for you in South Africa, Southern Eden. Take a look at your people down there and make those connections and explore the possibility of you relocating on that end.
Okay.
All right? But other than that, we thank you. We thank you for your presence here. We thank you for the great, great show that you put on for us. We thank you for the light that you radiate. And may it continue to shine bright. Hallelujah. So that's Voices of Truth. And stay tuned for the next, because we've got loads and loads of those that have come up and will continue to come up as it was prophesied to come up to Jerusalem. And now that the gates are open again, take advantage of that opportunity, because those were 2 long years, and I'm sure there was a lot of grinding of teeth or gnashing of teeth, you know, not being able to get out and move, you know. So it was kind of like a dress rehearsal for what's to come with this monkey business. I mean, monkey pox, you know, that they're putting out now, you know, and saying, oh, again. So you don't know what they've got in store, but we know that we're going to have to keep our hands in the hands of Yah and keep our alignment with what our purpose is. So we thank you again and look forward to the next time. Shalom from Dimona, Jerusalem, Northeast Africa. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hear my plea, oh yeah. Your rod and staff, they comfort me. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Hear my plea. Your rod and staff, comfort me. Hear my plea, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My refuge and my soul. Hear me, Hear my plea.